Okay, well, we're going to try this again. Hello, guys. Today is February 1st, 2012. It's about 5:20 in the morning. And as you can see, a lot of snow is melting here. Not to say we won't get any more, but it's been pretty sad. We haven't had hardly any snow this year. Anyway, I was just out here. I recorded like a 15-minute vlog, and I did so good on it. And then I don't know what happened. I guess the batteries died or something. I didn't even notice that it happened. Stupid me, I guess. But we'll try it again here. I'm never going to be able to do this as well as I did the first time, but yeah. So I'm watching a lot of Rescue 911 lately, and like videos of it on YouTube, because we used to watch the show when I was younger, like 93 to 94, 92 a little bit maybe, probably even like earlier than that, but anyway, so it kind of brings back a lot of memories seeing the episodes now, just thinking about what I was doing on the dates that they aired, and what tapes I had going on, or just whatever, but or what was going on in school. One thing that I kept noticing in a lot of the episodes were people making a lot of references to like faith and like things like God and things like that. And well, it kind of made me sad because I thought, if they put a show like that on the air nowadays, there would be so many people that would be getting offended by it. I mean, really, it's, when you look at the way that this world works, the way we operate, there are tons of things that we, as a humans can't live without. Things that, govern the way we live our lives. Like, and you can call it whatever you want. I mean, some people call it God, some people call it love, some people call it just an influence or a sense of morals or whatever. I mean, when you look at the Star Wars trilogy, like the original trilogy, I mean, because everyone says that's brilliant, but in the end, it comes down to this one guy, Darth Vader, who's evil, and pretty much all of the movies are just about him, him trying to turn over to the good side and then trying to get him to do it. But Luke sat there and talked to him all that time, and there was all these different things happening throughout the movies that were trying to change his mind, and in the end, it came down to one simple thing. It was only one thing that changed his mind, is when the Emperor started attacking Luke, his son. And it was only when he was watching his son suffer that finally he just changed his mind and turned into a good guy. Just out of the blue, boom. No, there was no reason to believe that he had any inclination towards it before, except for that one scene where Luke said, "My father is truly dead," and walked away, and then he just turns and looks at the woods for a while. You think maybe there he might have changed his mind, but after that, he's fighting with a lightsaber and, all this stuff. He defended the Emperor. He was still pretty much a bad guy. He had still pretty much made up his mind. That's what he wanted to do. But it was when he saw his son suffering, that's what changed his mind. That's all it took. That's all it took. The entire 3 movies, and that's all it took, was just for him to feel sorry for somebody and to want to step in and help them. And what do you call that, How do you say that something like that, is, well, okay, empathy. See, empathy is the word I'm looking for. I don't know if it's empathy or sympathy. I still get those two confused all the time. I'm sure there'll be plenty of comments pointing out the difference, but I think it was mostly empathy, though, because empathy is like when you don't know what they're feeling, but you feel sorry for them anyway, right? And sympathy is when you have been through it. Whatever, anyway. So it would have been empathy. But either way, empathy, sympathy, these are concepts, that don't take on any physical form, but I'd like to think that, we believe in them, that we at least acknowledge that they exist and that they govern our lives in some way. Because if we didn't have that, the eyes shudder at the thought of where this world would be right now. And so it's just that there's so many things in this world that don't have I mean, even physical things like air molecules. I mean, 200 years ago, who knew that there were air molecules in the air? But one day we discovered there were air molecules, and that's how we discovered airplanes. That's how airplanes got invented, because we discovered if we designed the wings a certain way so that the air pressure was higher on the bottom of the wing, to push the airplane up. And you just defied gravity, a rule that people probably thought was irrefutable, logically irrefutable for the last 100 years. You throw something up, it comes down. There's nothing more to it, But one day somebody discovered that there was air molecules in the air. You couldn't see them, you couldn't touch, taste, smell them, but they were there. And we learned how to manipulate them. And now we're flying through the skies, defying the irrefutable rule of gravity. Who would have thought we'd be doing that? 200 years ago, if you told somebody we'd be doing that, they'd probably say you were crazy. But it doesn't mean that the air molecules didn't exist back 200 years ago. Just because we didn't know about it doesn't mean they didn't exist back then. It's the same thing with radio waves. We discovered that we could manipulate waves to send sound signals and songs out to radios for hundreds of miles. And you can't see those or hear, smell, taste, or touch those either. And yet we discovered one day how to manipulate them, and now you can hear a song on the radio that's being broadcast from 100 miles away. Who would have thought you could do that? These are inventions of science. This is science we're talking about here. Scientific progress that we've made. We've learned how to manipulate the world in our favor. And so who's to say that there's something else they haven't discovered yet? I'm not saying that means there is. I'm just saying, how can you completely discount the possibility? It just seems so defeatist, to sit there and say, well, we've maxed out. There's nothing left to discover. We've maxed out. And that's the worst thing you can say, that we maxed out. That's like a slap in the face to science, to say that we've maxed out. And I'm not saying we should go around looking for this stuff like aliens or ghosts or whatever. And people say that those don't exist either, and they're just so certain about it. And that's what gets me so angry, because how could you possibly know? It's like you don't want people to find it. I mean, I don't know. It's like, I understand more than anybody that sometimes what you believe is not necessarily, what you want to believe is not necessarily what's true or what you do believe. But what's the point of there even being a difference between belief and truth if they were both so, synonymous and just lined right up with each other all the time? That would be pretty boring. It's the possibility that the future holds. That's what, that's why, we hope for things like that. I mean, I hope for it. I hope that there's an afterlife. I can't prove that there is one, but I sure hope there is one. I'd like to think that I could stick around and help people in some way, if it was as a ghost or in a different, physical dimension or whatever. I mean, I don't know. But I don't just want to die and never do anything again. I mean, what's the point? What's the point of even living at all? Well, okay. I mean, well, some people say, if you don't, if you sit here and wait around for the afterlife, then you're not doing anything with your life here, and I understand that totally. I guess that is one of the best arguments I've heard. It's just the thing is that I do believe that there is something after life. I don't know, I don't know if there is or not. I'm not going to try to convince anybody else that there is. But the last thing I want to see people doing is trying to take away other people's hope, because if I believe in the afterlife, that's fine. That's not taking anything away from anyone else. But when you sit there and say that there isn't, you are taking away hope from people, who believe that there might be something more out there. But haven't you ever hoped for something? Are you going to tell me that you haven't hoped because it's pointless to do that? I don't know how you can sit there and say that you've never hoped for something, just because it's pointless to do that. I mean, whether or not you hope inwardly or outwardly, whether or not that hope manifests itself somehow in some kind of physical behavior, who cares? It's hope. We all do it. We all do it. We all do it. We all hope. I don't think that we need someone to tell us what to do. I think we already have that in our instincts somehow programmed into us. But at the same time, how can there be a program and not a programmer? I don't know. Did it just happen by accident? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you can sit there and call empathy an accident. How you can call Darth Vader saving Luke, that whole process of what was going on in his mind, and just call that an accident. There would be no point to those movies then, would there? There'd be no point even watching them. There'd be no connection, no emotional investment, nothing. And that's why I don't get that mentality, why it is that people cling so fervently to that and say they're so sure that that kind of thing just doesn't exist, or that kind of thing, is just a machination, a process or a program, something. I don't know. It's a math problem. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to think that it was something closer to magic, but once again, do I sound weak when I say that? No, see, I don't know. Maybe I do sound weak, but see, I'm trying to believe in something without having any proof of it, without having the assurance, without having that security blanket. And what better security is there than knowing because it was just handed to you on a silver platter? That's security. Believing in something when you have no proof of it, that's going out on a limb and taking a chance on something.